Share your love and creativity for baking. Bake more memories with tried and trusted Royal Baking Powder. Last week on the Tastemaster SA, contestants took on the classic Swiss roll. Working in teams, they produced a savoury and sweet version of the bake. Richard and Philip showed their finesse, walking away as challenge winners. This week, the bottom 6 fight for survival.
This is my first elimination. Knowing I could be going home is quite heartbreaking.
I am pretty disheartened. This will be the third time. I guess what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Hello, contestants. Welcome back.
Hi. Hello.
Here we are, another elimination round.
This is my first elimination. It actually sucks to be at the bottom.
This is my second time. Hopefully, this will be the last.
Right, a quick reminder of what you're fighting for. The winner of the Tastemaster SA Season 5 will receive 150,000 Rand in cash from Capitec Business. This capital boost is the star ingredient that you need to take your career to the next level, because better never rests.
Dit verander elke keer. Ek het begin en gesê ek wil graag met 150,000 aan acting study. But I think I'm starting to love baking. Lariri wil 'n YouTube channel begin waar ek bak en brou. Dan combine ek albei.
The way the 150,000 Rand from Capitec is going to help me boost my business is to help me transition my online patisserie, the Butter Bowl, to a physical store. And I'd also like to create holiday programs to teach the youth how to bake.
The winner will also be receiving 100,000 Rand to spend with Samsung, 100,000 Rands worth of KitchenAid equipment, and a blast chiller from Electrical Industries Online with 65,000 Rand.
I would be super stoked to have one. I mean, who has a blast chiller?
So the theme today doesn't focus on a specific bake or specific ingredient, but it rather focuses on the soul of an entire region.
Seafood is such a delicacy, and in South Africa we are so spoiled with such an abundance. But for the communities of the west coast of South Africa, the seawater runs through their veins.
Your challenge today is to create a bake that evokes the spirit of the West Coast. Are you ready for a road trip? All right, off you go to meet your guest judge. Enjoy the West Coast.
I'm going on the road trip. I'm going on the road trip. Oh, ek is excited.
Seafood, West Coast, iconic.
Toe ek die see sien, toe skop ek my skoene uit and I just realized this is the place to be.
I've never been to the West Coast before. All I see is beach, sand, seashells, birds, and I'm wondering, where are we going?
Walking up the stairs and we see this beautiful wooden table. It's got some ingredients laid on there and a fire burning.
Hi everyone, welcome to Fontaine and welcome to the West Coast. My name is Dawid, I'm from Lekker Weskus. I like to show people what the West Coast is all about, and I cook and I braai on social media. About 2 years ago, I moved to the West Coast and I was just so influenced by the flavors, the people, and the old school way of cooking and recipes that it inspired me to share with everyone around the country. I think for me, the big thing and why I love living here, it's still the Villa Weskus. It's still wild, it's still untouched. There's so much untouched beaches and coastline, and people are still raw. You have the small town and everyone knows each other, and you know, like there's a community. So my style of cooking is very rough. No frills, no quills, and so I think people resonate with my content because it's not like overly complicated. It's very simple, and what you see you can try at home. When people think of Weskus, of course, it's snoek, it's fish, it's mussels, it's, you know, doing a potjie, it's doing a seafood feast, and then sunflower lamb is very popular, and then it's also potato world. We got tons of potato farms all over, so just bringing all those flavors together from your seafood, your potatoes, and creating dishes is really what it's all about. We're just gonna do my take on a rooster koek with some fried snoek, and then to elevate it slightly, we're gonna use this kapokbos, or wild rosemary, that you would find when you forage out in the area.
It doesn't smell very rosemary-ish, but it is very fragrant.
Okay, so we're gonna start by making the rooster koek So you have got 3 cups of flour. We're going to do half a cup of milk, 100 grams butter, 2 eggs, bit of salt, and of course, some royal baking powder.
Ek is 'n Makwallander. We love making rooster brood at home, especially with our braai.
So the nice thing about this recipe I found is like you don't have to give it time to rest, especially with you guys when you do challenges with time limits.
Ons is roosterkoek mense in die noord. Kyk ons mamas braai die brood met die kaal hand op die warm kolle. So ons gaan kyk.
So we're going to take this rosemary or the kapok bos and I'm just going to pull off some of the leaves and just to flavor it a bit.
I love the fact that you can pick something from nature and incorporate it into your dish.
When we're cooking the rooster cook, we're going to go low and slow on the fire. We want cold coals because you don't want it to burn on the outside and be raw on the inside, so you want it to cook nice and slow. And then for fish, hot and quick. Today I'm doing snook because it's really what the West Coast is all about. It's not endangered. This snook is caught right here in these waters of Eiserfontein, and it's just absolutely delicious. We're going to make a really nice marinade for the snook. So to start off, we're just going to add in half a block of butter. And then I finally grated some garlic. And then just a little pinch of salt. So the West Coast is very known for salt pans. If you see that area over there, that's a salt pan. So everything here today is literally from the West Coast. So while we wait for the butter to melt, we're going to go back to the kapok bos or the wild rosemary. We're going to just chop them a little bit. And some apricot jam. It's very traditional in the West Coast to have your snook with some jam.
That marinade is so rich and delicious. I love the addition of the apricot jam together with the wild rosemary.
So when braaiing any fish, you obviously have your skin side and your meat side. So I always just put a little bit of olive oil on the skin side just so that it doesn't stick to the grid. A small trick you can do is you put some foil down underneath, and that'll also help so that it doesn't stick and it can kind of cook in its own juice as well. So I'm going to start with its skin side down and just let it cook a little bit through, and then you give it a really good paint. So I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. Usually what you'll see is the edges will turn white on the fish. So it's not there yet. And then on the side, I'm just going to start putting the rooster cook as well.
I cook seafood occasionally. It's a bit finicky. You could overcook it so quickly.
So generally, also when a fish is ready, big cracks will start to form in the meat.
What's most exciting to me about today's theme is that it's giving farm to table vibes, and I think that's really cool.
So I'm just going to take a little bit of butter because this rooster cook's nice and hot and you want it to melt on there. And we're going to take some snook and you're just going to stack the snook on there. And there you go. I'm just going to try it first. Excellent.
Lekker.
Really good. I can't believe the rooster cook was so simple to make. It tastes absolutely crumbly in the mouth. It's a perfect vessel for that juicy sauce that goes perfectly with the snook.
It's so good. It's very good.
Very good.
The fish is singing right now, and with the pairing of apricot and the butter is perfection.
Die snoek op die kolle, absoluut fantasties. I enjoy that.
I'm pumped and I'm ready and I'm going to give it my all for this challenge.
Up next, inspired by their West Coast road trip, contestants take on the Elimination Challenge. Prepare to be proud with Olive Pride, endorsed by the Heart and Stroke Foundation, made with love by Clover.
Coming to the kitchen, I see a little setup. It looks like a market. I feel like there's some kind of a twist going on.
It's like a stress. I have no idea how this is gonna go.
Welcome back from your West Coast adventure. I hope you're feeling inspired by all things seafood, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Your challenge for today is to create a West Coast seafood-inspired dish that includes a bake that uses royal baking powder.
We want you to encapsulate the spirit of the West Coast, and therefore it needs to include at least one item from the ocean. For this elimination challenge, you will be given 2 hours to complete the bake.
I absolutely love seafood. I'm looking forward to this challenge so much.
I see that you've noticed our little Taste Master fresh fish market. To become the Taste Master and win the 150,000 Rand in cash from Capitec Business, you would need to prove that you can manage your finances. After all, running your own bakery requires the skill set.
So here's how it's going to work. You will all receive a card preloaded with 350 Rand. That is your budget. All of these specialized ingredients from the West Coast, you will have to pay for those, okay? So use your budget wisely. Of course, the regular Taste Master Pantry will also be available. Who would like some retail therapy first?
With 350 Rand from Capitec, I have to make big things happen. What I feel I'm gonna buy is yellowtail, bokums, spekboom, some lemons for the fish.
325 Rand.
Saving.
Not the point of this.
I'm excited to get with this challenge.
Happy shopping.
Thank you. I need to make 350 Rand work. I need to stretch it. I need protein, herbs, and a can of tomatoes.
It is a bit nerve-wracking to watch the other contestants shop in the event that they choose an ingredient that I want.
345 Rand.
Ooh, good
budgeting. We're gonna knock this challenge out of the park.
Natasha.
Hopefully I'll get everything with the money that I am given. Spend wisely and focus on key ingredients.
That's a total of 345 Rand. Good optimization of your budget.
Thank you. Going into elimination, I'm very nervous. The stakes are definitely getting higher as the competition goes on.
Oh, she got a strategy. Look at her, focused.
I want to get all of the things that I need that are essential: protein, wine, and my herbs.
Well done, Pumla. That is 350 bucks on the dot.
I'm definitely happy with all of the produce that I got from the fish market. Excited to start the challenge.
Straight for the yellowtail. Lovely.
Working with a budget is so important in the food industry. I think it's going to limit me, or maybe in a good way, to just stick to the bare minimum that I require and not just take a whole lot of stuff.
That's 345 Rand.
Sure, kept on budget, and it looks like I have everything I need.
Right, final shopper.
My budgeting skills are excellent when it comes to meal prepping. I am picking lemons, oranges, garlic, and breadcrumbs. I also do the huge yellowtail fillet.
345 Rand. Thank you for your business. There you go. Good luck.
Thank you. This is my third elimination. I need to focus. I need to stay focused and get this done.
Before we get started, let's welcome our guest judge, Mr. West Coast himself, Dawid. Of course, this is the Taste Master Kitchen, and there are always twists and turns and surprises. And there is one last detail that we haven't yet mentioned. Today's bake is a double elimination. So by the end of today, 2 of you will be going home.
A double elimination. My heart sinks.
Everything about seafood freaks me out. I am very scared.
Your 2 hours starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, guys.
The inspiration I'm taking from the masterclass is using some of the wild rosemary for my bread. Today I'll be making a butter poached cake with some mussels and some butter poached prawns. Underneath that is a bed of sweet corn with a lot of smoky and fresh flavors.
What is your exposure to the West Coast cuisine?
Not
Except for the masterclass.
That's it.
And your anchovy?
My anchovy is going into a butter, which we'll have with the bread.
Okay, you could have used a bokum.
My game plan is to firstly work on my bread. I really need that to rise because I will be feeding my bread to the bread god, which I'm very nervous about. I'll be making a seafood potjie. It will have some prawns, some hake, and some mussels in a tomato sauce with some home-style bread and an infused seaweed butter.
I am just warming up my milk to activate my yeast for my bread dough. Today I'll be making a creamy prawn and mussel pot, a nice fluffy brioche, a potato salad with some grilled corn and fresh herbs.
My royal baking powder is going to add extra fluff in my bread because I want a nice fluffy bread that you can soak up all the sauce from my seafood dish.
I see everyone is doing bread, so the way I think I'm gonna wow the judges is that I'm not doing bread. I'm actually making a cracker, and I'm not making like a full meal, I'm making something like a starter.
My name is Moletwa. I am from Johannesburg and I am a pastry chef. I work full-time on my business called The Butter Bowl. It's an online patisserie and I just graduated from Wits University. I studied anthropology because I'm interested in people and culture, and with my background in food, I just thought people, culture, food brings people together. It was such an obvious choice to study anthropology. I got into baking when I was young. My mom actually got really sick. She had a brain aneurysm. And when I was young, I didn't really understand the severity of it. And she lost some cognitive skills. And so there was one day I asked her, "Mom, please bake for me." And she baked shortbread, but it turned out so bad that from that day onwards, I tried to perfect it and see where she went wrong. And that's how I got into baking. The way my parents have influenced my baking style is that when I was young, they exposed me to different sort of cuisines. They used to take me to different restaurants that had really creative foods, and that influenced how I bake now, which is creative and also high-end fine dining. Winning the Taste Master would mean so much to me. It'll help me boost my business. It'll also validate me as a chef and validate the fact that I can get out of my comfort zone and conquer.
I love that you can use some royal baking powder when you are making a bread dough that has yeast. It's actually known as an improver. So I love that it puffs it up and gives it a lighter texture in my bread. The first thing I need to get done is the bread and then move on to an aioli. That's a bit of a temperamental thing. I need some time.
Hi, Mel.
Hi,
So what are you planning in a nutshell?
I'm creating two boards for you today. I am doing a snook pate with a spiced apricot compote, and I'm doing some breadsticks and some fresh bread. I want to do like, okay, while you're sitting and we're chatting and having a few drinks, that we have the snook pate. And then straight after that, and on my second board, yellowtail skewers with the aioli, some charred corn, and a speckworm pesto. It's like almost like I'm going to call it a Weskus kale.
I'm excited to see the speckworm pesto.
Yeah, it's the first time I've done that as well.
My strategy for today's bake is to work smart and to keep things simple. On the menu today is a yellowtail fillet that I'm going to marinate in orange juice, orange zest, and some of that wild rosemary. Then I'm doing a farm-style bread, a compound herb butter, and I'm reducing red onion, adding apricot jam, and some chili for a kick. Woo, this has a bite to it.
Make big things happen by taking part in this week's viewer competition.
We want to see your version of a West Coast-inspired seafood feast, including a baked item made with royal baking powder. Upload it onto socials by replying to the competition post and using the hashtag TheTasteMasterSA and hashtag BakeMoreMemories. And you could win a KitchenAid stand mixer of your very own.
Happy baking!
Congratulations to the winner of our episode 4 viewer competition, Desiree de Gouveia, who baked a delicious tower of traditional Melva puddings with a refreshing citrus twist, infusing caramel sauce with fresh orange juice. Who will influence the nation with their creative bakes? Bake more memories with tried and trusted royal baking powder.
I am currently sweating my onions and my leeks, and then I'm adding my spices. My bread is in the prover. I am making I guess it's a home-style family bread.
Yeah.
It's my mom's recipe.
And no flavoring there, you're going to keep it...
I added some wild rosemary. I took that tip from your masterclass.
Oh, clever, yeah. Nice.
It's going to be paired with a seafood boiki. I have some prawns, some shellfish, and some hake. I'm actually cooking food that I really want to eat and I really enjoy eating.
Lekker. Cook from the heart.
Cook from the heart.
Good
yes.
strategy.
Thank you. My name is Bokang Siliwe. I am 34 years of age. I currently reside in Joburg. My business is called Just One Slice, and I am a self-taught baker. My love for baking and food started when I was a little girl. I would watch my mom bake and make cakes around the house. That's where the root of baking and food came from. I am a mom of a 2-year-old baby girl. Her name is Lereko. She's an absolute fireball. She loves being in the kitchen with me, baking with me. She actually has her own personal rolling pin. And when I'm feeling down, she just uplifts my spirit. I come from the corporate world. I actually started marketing. And I left corporate 5 years ago. And my then boyfriend, now my husband, suggested that I start baking and actually selling my goods to people. And I was very scared to begin with, but I took a leap of faith, and I guess I've never looked back since.
Is this your bread dough?
Yes, this is my
and
bread.
what are you mixing with that?
Yeah, this is a brioche. So there was eggs, milk, a little bit of oil in there. Here's my butter.
Okay.
Once that is slightly more incorporated, I'll add my butter.
Okay, like I said, that's your brioche.
And
Breads are going to be
then
served with.
we have a creamy prawn and mussels. And then we'll have like potato salad and grilled corn. I just want a nice hearty meal.
Right now, I'm making a rooibos rub for my yellowtail, which I'm just gonna pan sear, almost like a sashimi vibe. And then I'm going to do a speckworm and corn salsa on like a cracker. So I want it to be more like a starter sort of vibe. And then some mayo with, you're gonna help me with
Bokum.
Bokum.
Bokum mayo. That's quite an intimidating ingredients to use.
Well, don't say that.
But I think your strategy is spot on.
Bokums. Interesting salty flavor. I am now making the butter for the bread. So I'm chopping some sun-dried tomatoes. I am using frittered Vaseline. Instead of anchovies, I'm using bokum. I've never worked with it before, so I'm a bit afraid if it will pack the flavor that I wanted to pack, like the anchovies.
For my shellfish pot, I smoke my mussels and my prawns with some hickory chips and kapokpos. The smokiness of my mussels will be flavored with some chili, freshness, and cream, just to counteract. So it's not too strong, but you must get that hint of smoky.
I am almost done with my onion and chili and apricot jam relish. I move on to my marinade. I add some orange juice, orange zest, some butter, as well as the wild rosemary. Yellowtail is not a fish that I've cooked with before. I haven't even eaten it, so I don't know what it tastes like.
Contestants, you have 1 hour left to go. You are halfway. 1 hour to go. Muli, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
We'll see.
Oh, that looks good. Beautiful rise on that.
Thanks to the Samsung oven.
Oh, you put the proof setting on.
Yes.
Nice. How's the pressure treating you?
After seeing that clock, it just got to me now, like, okay, you need to get this done.
What I am doing is trying to take off the skin of the yellowtail. I put on my rub, which is really nice. It's very aromatic with some lemon zest and garlic flakes and some salt.
According to a prep list that I've planned for myself, I am on schedule. Every second counts today. The energy in the kitchen is kind of subdued.
There's a few people that this is their first elimination challenge, and if I think back to mine, I was very focused, very nerve-wracked, and I guess that's how it's going to go down for the rest of the challenge.
Right, so you've had a bit of a walkabout. Anything stand out to you as super exciting?
I'm very excited. I saw some really like indigenous West Coast ingredients, some rooibos.
Good.
I saw some potatoes and some citrus. Yeah, I think today is going to be tough to judge.
Oh.
Yeah. No, already.
Yeah.
Love a use of spice, some chili here and there, and some interesting bakes as well.
Very quiet kitchen today. Laser focus, I think.
I think there's a lot of them are using ingredients they've never used before, so it's a bit more stressful than usual.
It's going to be interesting.
Daunting.
I'm busy right now with my bread dough. It has done an amazing job proving in that Samsung microwave. Loving it. Sure, it was supposed to be 25 minutes in there, 10 minutes max.
get on to rolling the bread dough into 3 different types that I would like. I go ahead and make rossini sticks. I then divide my dough for the loaves, and I'm going to add some apricots.
I think it's going to bring sweetness. Chef used it in his masterclass to pair well with snook. I'm using snook pate, so why not?
Mel's doing a snook pate, which I'm very
I love
much looking
snook
forward
pate.
to. Me too.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things. No pressure.
I'm using olive oil to saute my sweet corn so I can get that nice olive oily flavor. I'm also blow torching it so you can have that extra smokiness flavor.
My dough is now out of the blast chiller, and I am cutting circles out and getting it on a tray so that I can put it in the oven to cook.
45 minutes. Get the snook into a hot searing pan. Just get some char so that increases the flavor. The one element that I'm really excited about doing is the speckworm pesto. I add some Parmesan cheese. I'm going with some cashews. I get in a garlic clove and I work it through the pestle and mortar until it's really nice and fine, and then start gradually adding some olive oil, salt and pepper to taste, and yeah, it's starting to taste like pesto.
How are things going here?
I'm reducing my stock. My bread is proved. I need to stick it in the oven. I still need to devein my prawns.
Okay, that's a big job.
Doing scamies or not.
Give it a spin.
Nah.
Does that mean you're not going to taste this?
No, I'm definitely going to taste it. In small doses, I think bokoms can, add lots of seasoning, complexity of flavor. A lot of it, though, is a lot.
Yeah.
The blachan that I decided to make is a little last-minute addition. It's a red chili blachan that I made with apricot jam. I add crushed garlic and red wine vinegar.
Contestants, we are entering the final 30 minutes of this challenge. Let's go for it. Let's finish up strong.
You have this habit of taking everything in your stride. So even if you're stressed, you never show it.
Oh, I'm glad.
I'm freaking out. Are you? Is that... So you're going to start at the tail end. So you're going to put your knife straight down, okay, and just cut until the skin. So just, and now make sure that your knife is sort of parallel to the skin like that, okay, and now pull the skin and shuffle the knife. There you go.
The pressure. I take out my crackers and they look amazing.
I've taken my mussels out. I'm about to make the sauce. I'm just straining the stock that came from the mussels, adding a little bit of wine, then reducing it, then adding the cream, and then I'm just going to emulsify the sauce with some butter, then heat it up just before serving.
So my fish is now in the citrus, and I'm just going to leave it for a little while, not too long, because citrus can start cooking the fish, and then it's going to get pan-seared.
What I'm making is a pesto with mint and Parmesan, some cashews, and some chili and some lemon juice.
Mel, that flatbread looks fluffy and delicious.
Thank you.
What is the creaminess you're working
So
on
I've got
there?
the cream cheese, I've got some lemon zest, and I have some creme fraiche that I'm using in, some citrus, some coriander, salt
so
and
that's
pepper.
for the snook, eh?
Yes, it's going into the snook pate. I'm just flaking enough right now to get it in.
I think that it's done. It's nice and crusty on the outside. I brush it with some apricot jam so that the flavors run through.
The veggie, you just want to give it a char?
I just want to give it a little char just so that it has that fire effect for breaking up a little bit in the pan.
Did you pre-cook it? Sorry.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
For my butter compound, I take some butter, I chop up some fresh parsley, some wild rosemary, and I also grate in some garlic.
Cooked, done, ready to go.
Contestants, listen up. This is your 10-minute time call. You have 10 minutes left to go. Start plating, start finishing up. Let's go.
Come on, guys, come on, come on.
There's 10 minutes left and I need to make sure I sear this fish.
I'm putting the yellowtail skewers in the pan. I'm trying not to overcook this.
I'm waiting on my bread. I'm cutting it close.
Okay, so you're smashing some black garlic in there, and it's going into some
butter for my bread, and I've got some seaweed in here.
Bokang's eyes are the biggest I've seen them
ever been.
That's your hake, eh?
Yes, I'm just trying to get the skin a little bit brown and also the butter flavors in.
They look baked. I just want a little bit more color, so I think I'm gonna pop them in for 5 minutes. Oh no, I don't have time.
There's only a few minutes left and I'm stressed. I feel like I'm not going to get everything on the plate.
I cut my finger, 5 minutes to go until time is out.
Time is ticking. I want to get everything on the board.
Contestants, you're entering the final 10 seconds of this challenge in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop baking. Step away. Well done.
That was tough.
It went really fast, but I think I got everything on the plate the way I wanted it to.
I am feeling very confident about my dish. It's very simple because that's what my aim was today. Keep it simple.
Super stoked. It's my vision, and it actually really just came to life as I wanted it to.
I pray that all my flavors come through. I just want a nice Weskus hearty meal.
There's no time in this kitchen. I do hope that they like it and they don't send me home.
Coming up, the judges are taken on a flavor journey to the West Coast as contestants present their bakes.
Better never rests, so be the star to take your baking to the next level with Capitec.
Do it like this. Do it like get it, move it, own it. Do it like this.
Bespoke.
Another elimination challenge complete. Do you think that the West Coast has been represented in what you saw before we taste?
Yeah, I do think so. I think from a lot of the ingredients I saw and a lot of the techniques I saw, I think the West Coast is really going to come through. I'm excited to taste and see if it tastes West Coast.
And I think that's a tall order because it's such a special but specific area of the Western Cape. And to represent that is not easy. You ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
Let's bring on the first bake.
I am feeling nervous, but I'm confident with what I have on my plate.
So Renuka, what would it mean to you to make it through another elimination round?
If I go through to the next round, I will be really ecstatic, just so that I can show you the other skills that I have. Watching the judges taste my meal and pick every component is making me feel very anxious.
Renuka, for me, this was a very complete dish. Extremely well balanced. The bread is light. It's got a beautiful milky sweetness to it.
The fish cooked perfectly. I love the citrus flavor that came through. The bread, the fish, the sweetness is very much West Coast.
The magic was the onions. I mean, those were so flavorful. That hum of chili was really lovely. A very balanced and very well executed dish. Thank you so much.
I definitely feel like I have redeemed myself. The plating and the pause.
Do you think your dish says West Coast? Do you think you hit the brief?
I think I use a lot of West Coast flavors, so I think in that regard, yes. I'm freaking out because everyone actually did a cooked fish, so I hope that this is enough to impress them.
The presentation was really nice. I like the crunchiness of the spekboom. I had a little bit of the bokamayoli. Flavors fantastic. Use it like just enough.
That rooibos on the fish for me is like so awesome. I would have liked a little bit more of a snap to the cracker, but it's got a great flavor.
That wild rosemary is wild. You showed like a sophistication in the way that you put this dish together. This is like the West Coast elevated.
Yes.
I definitely feel like I deserve a place in the Tastemaster kitchen.
Really great understanding of flavors that aren't familiar to her. That's an amazing skill.
Walking up to the judges, I'm always uncertain.
Mel, what a feast. You've clearly put your heart and soul into this challenge.
I envisioned a Weskus keier and just, simple as I could keep it, but hopefully elevated for the competition.
Watching the judges pick at the food, it seems like hours are going past.
First of all 3 of your breads, delicious. Happy to report no bones in my snook pate, so yay for that. And I love the flavors. Your pesto is inspired. I thought that the flavor of that was so delicious, and with the flatbread and the creaminess of the aioli and that sharpness and that cushy bread, I thought that was really delicious.
The snook pate, 100% my favorite. The yellowtail was a little bit overcooked, a little bit dry. And then what you did with the apricots, that was, I might steal that idea from you. So.
Everything was well baked, well risen. On the technical aspect, aioli maybe a little bit more flavor. Fish maybe a sear instead of a full cook. This dish as a whole is super enjoyable.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Pumla. Are you happy with how everything turned out today? Is there anything that you would have changed?
I think I would have changed my fish option to yellowtail because the hake became a little bit flaky. So as I was trying to plate it, it just kind of fell apart. I'm actually very scared going to judging because 2 people can go, but at this point it's positive thoughts.
I think hard work, well executed, but lacking a few components to really push it. No. The bread is overbaked. It's definitely very crusty. Pure bokum and sun-dried tomato is flavorful. It's got great depth. My prawn was undercooked.
The prawn side also was a bit undercooked. The flavors of the corn mix I really liked. There's really strong flavors that came through, and then the hake I also think was done really nicely.
The hake for me was my favorite just because you cooked it perfectly. The flake was really lovely. It was tender. It did have that buttery flavor, so I thought that was lovely. Mussels, however, were very overcooked. Bokum's butter with the sun-dried tomato, what a combo.
No,
delicious, absolutely delicious. Your gutsy use of the flavors that weren't familiar to you, you did a good job there. So, well done.
Thank you, Pumla.
Walking up to the judges for tasting, I'm a little bit nervous. I must hit this one out of the park.
Natasha, you said that you were cooking and baking with your family in mind today.
Yes.
What would they say about your display for us today?
I hope they would be very proud and say that looks lekker. Everything I do, I genuinely do it out of love. I present love on a plate.
Natasha, the flavor of this dish is so deep and rich, and then the texture of your light, airy brioche in that is so good. The salad is nice. The chutney doesn't sit well with me really anywhere. Generally, it feels like it was an afterthought.
The mussels were cooked perfectly. I love the smokiness that I could taste through it, as well as with the prawn. I love the potato salad. I think you really did a good job.
I love the combination of sweet potato and spekboom. I thought that was very interesting, and I think it added a complexity to your dish as well. You got such great depth of flavor in your sauce here, and your seafood in it was perfectly cooked. Yeah, I felt the West Coast in this. Yeah.
I feel a little bit more optimistic about my bake. I never opened up my bread, so it was fingers crossed moment.
I feel incredibly proud of what I've put on the table. I know that my fish is cooked through and my bread tastes very soft and fluffy. I personally made food that I enjoy eating, comfort food, rustic,
I love getting into my food with my hands, and I'm hoping that you guys can indulge me and do the same today. The food that I've placed in front of the judges today is basically a mirror of me and my family. We love eating around the table, we love sharing food, so that was today's inspiration.
Thank you for this abundant celebration of the West Coast. I thought that your butter, the combination of flavors, I think was interesting and it was lovely, and it absolutely did have that umami flavor, but I think what's missing from the butter is salt. You got a great cook on the seafood in that sauce. My prawn was so juicy, delicious. The mussel was still plump. The bread for me needed a little more flavor, but I think that you got a good bake on it.
We're at such a tight spot in the competition. You know, everything needs to be not only perfect, but elevated and intriguing and innovative. So it's really got to pull out everything out of you in terms of a creative perspective and, you know, like celebrate the brief. What you have done is celebrated togetherness and meal and sharing, etc. This absolutely does all of that. There's nothing wrong here. There really isn't. That's a delicious dish. But if you move on from this point onwards, you need to start accessing the next level of creativity and innovation. All right. Thank you, Bokang.
Thank you, Bokang. Thank you. I mean, the seafood is so well cooked.
It's very much like gives you that home cooked meal.
Yeah. At this stage of the competition, with a double elimination, it becomes that much more difficult. Dawid, are you ready?
Ready.
To decide which two people are going home?
We'll have to maybe discuss a little bit more.
You think?
I do. Because it's going to be tough.
Next up, after a long deliberation, the judges make their tough decision. Do you own a small baking or home business? A prize of 50,000 Rand is waiting to be claimed, courtesy of the Tastemaster SA and Capitec business. To enter, post a video to Instagram sharing your small business story, your journey to success so far, and how you'll use this Capitec boost to further the growth of your business. Tag Capitec Bank and Tastemaster SA and use hashtag Better Never Rests and hashtag the Tastemaster SA to enter. Entries close on Sunday the 21st of July. T's and C's apply and can be found on the tastemaster.co.za. Who will influence the nation with their creative bakes? Bake more memories with tried and trusted Royal Baking Powder.
Contestants, another really high level of baking today. I think that you can all be very proud of what you produced. So give yourselves a round of applause.
Getting to the verdict, it feels like my heart is jumping out of my body.
Let's kick off with some good news. All your dishes were amazing, but there was a dish that was standout. It was a true celebration of West Coast cuisine. It was well executed on all fronts, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. Today's best bake was made by Renuka. Well done.
Yes! I actually didn't expect to have the best dish of the day, but I'll take it.
And now for the tough but inevitable part. The next person to leave the Tastemaster kitchen is...
Don't let it be me, don't let it be me. I cannot even look in Fritz's eyes.
I'm not ready to leave this competition. I'm finding my feet now, and I don't want to go home.
Pumla. Such a good offering today, but unfortunately, some technical failures in some of the components that you presented. But a good effort.
Thank you.
And the second person to leave the Tastemaster kitchen today is... Bokang. Really a dish that would not disappoint with your family or anywhere else. But at this stage, we need more elevation, but more creativity. And ladies, both of you, you should be proud of yourselves because we are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the journey. Learned a lot, and this is not the end of the road.
At home, I have a vision board. And on this vision board, I put a face of a crying woman and I said, if you ever enter the Taste Master, don't cry on national TV. I'm not crying because I'm going home. I'm crying because I feel like what I presented is a true reflection of myself. I want my child to look back and know that her wildest dreams are more than achievable. So thank you so much, guys.
So proud of you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ladies, you may hang up your aprons and leave the kitchen.
I made it this far. It wasn't easy, so I'm definitely proud of myself.
I'm going home with my head held high and looking forward to even greater opportunities.
Next week, the top 8 are tested beyond their baking abilities with food styling and photography to create their dream cookbook cover. From our family to yours, the Taste Master essay, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.